In the shadows, secrets lurk. She exposes, she ignites. With every post, she does the work, unmasking darkness, revealing lights. Political cow, the beacon bright, unveiling truth, banishing night. With every post, she does the work, unmasking darkness, revealing lights. Oh, what political cow, the beacon bright, unveiling truth, banishing night. Her voice cuts through, stark and raw, shattering deception, breaking the law. Breaking the law. Icons crumble, empires fall. She stands tall, fierce and cold. Her voice echoes a thunderous call. In the chaos, her strength unfolds. False prophets scatter, truth ascends. The world watches, mesmerized. Political cows, battle never ends. In her light, dark meets its demise. Political cow, the beacon bright, unveiling truth, banishing night. At every post, she does the work, unmasking darkness, revealing lights. Why? Political call, the beacon bright, unveiling truth, banishing night. Her voice cuts through, stark and raw, shattering deception, breaking the law. Breaking the law. Political cow, political cow.
Everybody, what is going on? I just want to call out a couple of things here. The pinned chat on YouTube, join as a member. We'll have more community type activities going in, icons for you to be able to comment in on. I'm trying to get some good politicians in there. Send me your chats if you want to get a particular one. If you want Adam Schiff, hey, it'll get in there. It'll get in there, guys. Just let me know what you want to see. Of course, we'll have plenty of Trump, Vance, Vivek, Elon, some really interesting or awkward faces. We'll get those all in there. You could chat people with, but of course, Pelosi, AOC, but anyone else. Do you want Adam Schiff in there? Let me know. For today's session, I just had a couple of things I wanted to run through pretty quickly. There was Trump departing from the airport after the talk he had in Los Angeles with local leaders, actual residents, and he met with people. That's important to note. He met with people. He had discussions about what really was important to them, and I don't see a lot of people doing that. They kind of speak from the ivory tower, namely Gavin Newsom, about what is beneficial for everybody in general. They know what's best for you. They know what to do for your money that they take from you in terms of taxes, but they don't ask what actually is going to make a difference in your life, what's going to move the needle. And so it was nice to see that happening. Let's take a look at that, and then we're going to jump into Trump's tax plan, which is very interesting coming up here. A lot of scrutiny is now going to be centered in on that. You have the majority of Congress in your hands, so time is of the essence. If you want to get something done now, let's get it done. Crypto is a big one in terms of his tax policy. State, local taxes, removing those caps that actually harmed residents in California and other major states, including Texas. That's another one that's on the list. And honestly, it's not about benefiting one percenters or the top income earners. It's more about an acknowledgement of the massive inflation that's unfolded in recent years. That's really the driver here, right? There's been so much inflation, and it's just led to an unnatural set of real estate price growth that's happened. But all right, first things first, let's kick this off. Trump leaving Los Angeles, his remarks to reporters. And again, he took reporters' remarks for close to an hour and a half in a round table kind of open forum. Had local leaders asking questions. Ted Lieu was there. The mayor of LA was there. Tried to spar with Trump a little bit. Didn't really work out well for her because he was there just saying hey, these are the things that we need to do. And she took offense that but I am doing these things, but these are things that I'm happening. And Trump's looking at her like, I don't care. I'm just saying that these are the things that we need to do. It's great you're doing them. Like, stop arguing with me. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to help people. Without further ado, let's take a look at Trump getting back on Air Force One here.
And very importantly, we had two fantastic meetings in North Carolina and also in Los Angeles. And we made a lot of progress. It's a tragic event, really tragic. And we appreciate you being here, and we're going home.
What did you promise from the governor, Mr. President? Did you ask for several dollars?
No, we just had a good talk. We're on the same team. We want to get it fixed. So we had a very good talk with the governor. Had a very, very good talk.
What do you think of Mr. McConnell voting against next step?
I didn't know that. I just know we won. I hope the mayor got the message. Yeah.
All right, audio is a little bit difficult there to kind of hear. I will create an edited version that takes out the airplane noise and emphasizes the voice, post that as a separate item. But one thing I wanted to emphasize here, the key points that he's making here, we are on the same team, talking about everybody up and down the state of California and across the country. We're on the same team. I had a good discussion with the governor. That's it, right? That's the kind of sentiment and leadership and bringing people together that we need. You hear the rhetoric that's coming out of Washington right now from Adam Shifty Schiff. Again, go take care of California, right? You got some stuff going on there. But in any event, let's jump over now to Trump's discussion. Let's just fast forward just a little bit because we don't need to get flagged on any of these copyrighted songs that are going on. Come on. Hang on. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. All right, here we go. Shifting over to his recent speech on tax policy.
Great to be back in this beautiful city to celebrate the historic first week in the White House. That was definitely historic. And I had a lot of help in winning. Joe Lombardo, your governor, is here someplace. Where's Joe? Thank you, Joe. You're looking good, Joe. Thank you very much. What a group. But look at who you have next to you. How can you fail with that guy? Also, Lieutenant Governor Stavros Anthony. Stavros, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Where are you? There you are, Stavros. You're very good. Is he doing a good job, Joe? I think so, huh?
Hey, quick response to the comment in the chat. Alpha Kappa, appreciate it. It says Trump. Let me highlight it on the screen for you guys here. Boom. There we go. It says Trump, all Filipino OFW mass support by America. Listen. My family as immigrants came into the country under actual asylum demands. Names of our family members were on lists. Find these folks, throw them in jail, and worse. We were on lists by communists at that time. We followed the process, went to the designated neighboring countries, waited, and then gained status and came to the United States. We followed the process. Follow the process, y'all. We had real threats on our lives. Followed the process. That's all they're asking for. You can't shortcut the line. The influx of millions of people were not set up to bring in millions and millions of people. Ask the residents of Chicago how that's going for them. Ask the residents of New York and elsewhere how that's working out. There's one thing to have a bleeding heart. There's another thing to be realistic and to make visible that we do want to have intake. That is part of the process. That's part of what makes us great, but it's in a controlled fashion and it abides by the law. Absolutely necessary.
He's all right. Nevada GOP Chair Michael McDonald. He did something which not a lot of people have been able to do, but I think Republicans are going to start winning the state. You know, typically they don't necessarily do so good. We did really well. We won in a landslide. That's really why I'm here, I must be honest with you. Republican National Committee woman Sigal Chattah. Sigal, thank you, wherever you may be. Hi, Sigal, thank you very much. Republican National Committeeman Jim DeGraffin Reed. That's a hell of a beautiful name, but I know the name's so long, it's easy to say. One of the greatest people, I'll tell you, a man who's done so damn well. I don't know what it is with him. He's just a legend. He's one person, you know, we can all sort of be replaced, although we don't like to think that. Maybe it's not true. But this is a guy that can't be replaced. There's nobody like him. Dana White. Where's Dana White? Where's Dana White? Where the hell is he? UFC. He's great. Are the Nelk Boys here? Oh, yeah, there they are, the Nelk Boys right there. And Rick Harrison. Rick, thank you very much for being here. If you're around here someplace with Dana. Mr. Phil Ruffin, his wife Alexandra, and their two beautiful children, Richard and Marlena. Phil, where's Ruffin? Where's Phil Ruffin? He's right here, so he's some legend, I'll tell you. He's a legend in Las Vegas and beyond. Phil, he's here. He'll be coming out. Today we talk about how we're going to end the economic suffering and stagnation and disaster of the past 4 years and create the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And as I said in my inaugural address, which, by the way, it got the highest rating in the history of Fox. Did you believe that? That's nice. The golden age of America begins right now, but I have to be honest with you, I'm really here for a different reason. I'm here to say thank you. I went to North Carolina yesterday, and then I flew to see just an unbelievable problem and just a mess in Los Angeles, right? And I said, you know what I ought to do? I want to come to a state known as Nevada. Has anyone ever heard of it? And don't ever mispronounce the name. You're not allowed to do that, Joe. You mispronounce the name, you got a problem. You ever see somebody when they say it's Nevada? Nevada? Oh, they're in deep trouble. I want to come to Nevada to pay my respects because this is the only Republican win of this state in decades, and it was a very big landslide. So. But I think Republicans are going to win a lot now. But we had a big win, and it was an early win, and that was a bad signal for the Democrats. They heard that we were leading so big here, and Joe helped us so much, and a lot of people in this room helped us a lot. Special group. And so I said, you know what I'll do? We're going to fly around it. And I said, let's fly right over it. Let's land, and I'll do something, and I'll just say it. But I want to say it, and I'm almost saying it right here for the media. I just came here because I wanted to thank the people of Nevada for giving us such a big win. Well, I'll be here all day. Under our leadership, we're going to defeat inflation, bring down prices. We're going to raise those wages. They're going to go up. They're going to go up. Put more money in your pocket, secure our borders, restore law and order to our cities, and we're going to make America great again. And For 4 long years, the last administration waged war on the American middle class and everybody else. They had a lot of wars. We had no wars when I left. We defeated ISIS, and we stayed out. Nobody wanted to mess with us. They had a lot of wars. We're trying to put them out. We'll get them put out. Don't worry, we'll get them put out. We were headed to World War III. I'm telling you, we would have had problems like you wouldn't believe. They shut down American energy, buried you in crippling regulation, imposed hidden taxes, and spent trillions and trillions of dollars on waste, corruption, and radical left lunacy. These were lunatics. The result was the most brutal inflation in a half a century, perhaps ever, in this country, I think ever, and soaring prices for food, groceries, and other household goods. The people of Nevada are now paying nearly $1,200 per month more to make ends meet since I left office. Think of that, $1,200 at least. But since I became the 47th president at noon on Monday, I've been moving with urgency and historic speed to fix every single calamity of the Biden administration that they've created. And this week alone, I took nearly 350 executive actions to reverse the horrible failures and betrayals that we inherited from a group of people that didn't know what the hell they were doing, what they've done to this country, especially the open borders, where they have, think of it, 21 million people came in. Many of them are criminals, murderers. Well, we're getting them out. You see it. You see it yesterday, first day. Our message could not be more clear. America's decline is over. American decline is over. We're laughed at all over the world. Now we're not laughed at anymore, I'll tell you. What the world witnessed this week is nothing less than a revolution of wealth creation for everyone and also common sense. It's about common sense. It really is. We're the party of common sense. On day one, I directed every member of my cabinet to, and by the way, Pete Hegseth got approved. And Kristi Noem just got approved, Governor. She's going to keep it. She's a tough one. She's a tough one. And she's going to do a great job. On day one, I directed every member of my cabinet to marshal all powers at their disposal to defeat inflation and bring down the cost of daily life. We want to bring prices down. Too high. They went way up. They didn't come down. I imposed a federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, a foreign aid freeze. Oh, that's a nice one. And I created the new Department of Government Efficiency, and we're going to have a lot of good people. Elon, we're going to get Elon Musk to get involved in that a little bit. He already is. People like him. I terminated the ridiculous and incredibly wasteful Green New Scam. Wasn't the environment supposed to eat us up like in 12 years? But that was like 13 years ago. What happened? We're still here. We're still here. Remember, we have 12 years to live. Remember that? Done by somebody that never even took a course on the environment. AOC plus 3. Do you remember those three? They were telling us about the environment. AOC plus 3. This action alone will save hundreds of billions of dollars of American taxpayers' money. I withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord. And I canceled the insane and costly electric vehicle mandate, keeping my sacred pledge to America's auto workers. Boy, did we get a big vote with the auto workers out there. And the Teamsters. Any Teamster in the room? We got a tremendous vote from the Teamsters. Thank you. They're pointing like one guy over. But they voted for us in the millions, so we had a lot of Teamsters voting for us. I withdrew from the World Health Organization, where we paid $500 million a year, and China paid $39 million a year, despite a much larger population. Think of that. China's paying $39 million to have 1.4 billion people. We pay $500 million. We have, nobody knows what the hell we have. Does anyone know? We have so many people pouring in. We have no idea. We go up, but we're going down a little bit now. You don't mind that, do you? going to take some bad ones out. I would do it 4 years ago, but Biden immediately went back for even more money. I mean, he went back, and they offered me at 39 million. They said, we'll let you back in at 39. So we're going to reduce it from 500 to 39. I turned them down because it became so popular. I didn't know if it would be well received even at 39. But maybe we would consider doing it again. I don't know. Maybe we would. They have to clean it up a little bit. But China pays 39 million for 1.4 billion, and we're paying 500 million for 325 million. I don't know. What the hell is wrong with these people? And then when Biden went back in, they immediately went back in. They paid more than we were paying in the first place. They paid more than the 500 million. So they knew they could have had it for 39. They paid more. You wouldn't do that, Joe, right? Now think of it. They know they have a deal at 39, so they went back in at 525 million. What the hell? Man, oh man. It infuriates you, doesn't it? I declared a national energy emergency to unlock the liquid gold under our feet and pave the way for rapid approvals of the new energy infrastructure. The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we may be a very substantially enlarged country in the not too distant. Isn't it nice to see, for years, for decades, we're the same size to the square foot. Probably got smaller, actually. But we might be an enlarged country pretty soon. And one of the things we're going to be doing is drill, baby, drill. Because that's going to bring everything down. It's going to bring everything down. My administration has also begun the largest deregulation campaign in the history of our country, far exceeding. I had the record for you. We had a great economy, the greatest economy that we've ever had 4 years ago. But this is going to be better. You watch. This will be better even than the first term. And the reason I got elected was because of the first term. Somebody said, what was the reason you got elected? I mean, you won by so much. I said, my first term. That's all I did. I just said, well, take a look at the numbers. Take a look at the numbers. In total, the Biden administration imposed $50,000 in additional regulation costs on the average American. And think of this, the average American was paying much more than $50,000. And just think of it. Nobody can even believe the numbers. I promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every new regulation. So if we put in a regulation, we have to get rid of 10. That's what I did. I did it 1 in 7. We're going to do 1 in 10 this time, which will soon put many thousands of dollars back into your pockets and the pockets of American families. As a result of the reforms, we've just begun to implement economic confidence, and it's soaring. So this week, Oracle, OpenAI, and SoftBank announced Stargate, a $500 billion investment in AI infrastructure, which is going to be very big for Nevada, I have to tell you, the largest in history, and which will create an estimated 100,000 American jobs. Saudi Arabia just said that they're going to invest at least $600 billion. This is because of the election, by the way. And I believe they'll make it $1 trillion. I'm going to ask them to make it $1 trillion. What the hell? The money means nothing to them. You know where they made their money? From liquid gold, right? They got a lot of liquid gold. We have more. We have more than Saudi Arabia. They've got a lot. We've got more. We got more than anybody. We just don't use it because of the environment. These people are crazy. And many other companies likewise are looking to invest, but I don't have enough time to do that. And we have a lot of news conferences.
Hey guys, piping in. Had an interesting chat come up. Let me bring up a couple of these things. Hang on. So Slippery Gaming, I appreciate you kind of adding some comments in here. Let's get your latest ones here. So why? Because I'm apparently smarter than you are. I take that as a compliment. All right, I'm glad you're feeling good about that. So you're defending somebody that pays less in taxes in the U.S. That's pretty sad, dude. How much is Trump paying? Let me ask my AI real quick. How much does Trump pay in taxes by jurisdiction or by country? Let's see if it brings it up real quick. I don't even know if it has that data. Let's see. Trump's tax payments vary significantly by country. Yes, foreign payments were much higher. He paid $15,000 in Panama, 145,000 in India, 156,000 of tax payments in the Philippines. Let's see. What about China? What about in China? And he paid approximately 188,000 in taxes between 2013 and 2015 in China through his companies. Okay. So a billionaire paying a couple hundred grand in taxes, this is marginal stuff. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what we're arguing about here. All right, let's see. My path to slippery leads to the U.S. being a democracy. Your path leads to being a fascist regime. You're right. I'll stick to mine. Question mark. I don't know how fascist regime is equating to putting money back in the hands of individuals rather than state control. You just do a quick Google search. Who assumes all assets of individuals versus who wants to put those assets, keeps them in the hands of people? Next one, because he's a billionaire, somebody that makes more money than you can even fathom. And that was in response to, why is it a good thing that if he pays more taxes, was my question. So here's the thing. If the 1,000 billionaire families in the United States, if we took every asset that they owned as a government, right? If the government took every asset that they owned, that would amount to trillions of dollars, but it would run the government for a little over 6 months. What do you do then? Month 7, 8 comes along. You run out of those billionaires' assets and you made them all broke. They're homeless at this point. What do you do at that point? You got to get back to your printing press. This game is not sustainable. Modern monetary theory is not sustainable that the Democrats are pushing out there. That's why we've had such high inflation. So when they say at some point you run out of other people's money, that's the example. If you took every penny that all the 1,000 billionaire families have, you can't run the government for more than a half year, maybe a little bit more. But the point is, there's an end to it. It's not sustainable. The government has to return to the printing press, which that's not a good idea either. We've seen what happened with that, right? So I don't know where that process is coming out. All right, let's go. One more thing here, and then we got to get back to this. Keeping immigrants that love democracy to put those fascist programs from democracy. So the targets right now are those who have criminal records coming in, who have committed crimes, who have been released because of local sanctuary policies. That's who's being arrested now. The next phase will be folks that are strictly, in violation of deportation laws. And again, my family, we actually had our names on lists by communist regimes, the regimes that you're talking about here, that you don't want to have show up in the United States. We've had family members that have disappeared. We've never heard from them again. They've vanished, not into thin air, but I mean, you can only imagine what happened to them. And we moved to or escaped to countries that were designated by the United States, waited in line, earned that refugee status, came into the States the right way. And we were welcomed with open arms and resources because they were accounted for. And so why others can skip that line, there's millions of people that came in the right way and who are now loving America, who are real Americans, and yet we have people who are protesting, speak negatively of the United States. Why is there an imbalance like that now at this point? It's just bizarre to me that we even have this conversation. All right, getting back to Trump, let's let him go more on his tax policy. Again, watching out for the crypto comments, no tax on tips, and overtime is a big one. And then state and local government taxes, removing the cap there, I think is a pretty big one. It's something that Democrats have complained about because it impacted a lot of high net worth states like Texas and like California and New York and Florida. But as inflation has caused escalations in home prices, we've had some issues with that. Bear with me, guys.
450 executive actions to reverse the horrible failures and betrayals that we inherited from a group of people that didn't know what the hell they were doing. What they've done to this country, especially the open borders, where they have, think of it, 21 million people came in. Many of them are criminals, murderers. Well, we're getting them out. You see it. You see it yesterday, first day. Our message could not be more clear. America's decline is over. American decline is over. We're laughed at all over the world. Now we're not laughed at anymore, I'll tell you. What the world witnessed this week is nothing less than a revolution of wealth creation for everyone and also common sense. It's about common sense. It really is. We're the party of common sense. On day one, I directed every member of my cabinet to, and by the way, Pete Hegseth got approved. And Kristi Noem just got approved, Governor. She's going to keep it. She's a tough one. She's a tough one. And she's going to do a great job. On day one, I directed every member of my cabinet to marshal all powers at their disposal to defeat inflation and bring down the cost of daily life. We want to bring prices down. Too high. They went way up. They didn't come down. I imposed a federal hiring freeze, a federal regulation freeze, a foreign aid freeze. Oh, that's a nice one. And I created the new Department of Government Efficiency, and we're going to have a lot of good people. Elon, we're going to get Elon Musk to get involved in that a little bit. He already is. People like him. I terminated the ridiculous and incredibly wasteful Green New scam. Wasn't the environment supposed to eat us up like in 12 years? But that was like 13 years ago. What happened? We're still here. We're still here. Remember, we have 12 years to live. Remember that? Done by somebody that never even took a course on the environment. AOC +3. Do you remember those three? They were telling us about the environment. AOC +3. This action alone will save hundreds of billions of dollars of American taxpayers' money. I withdrew from the one-sided Paris Climate Accord. And I canceled the insane and costly electric vehicle mandate. Keeping my sacred pledge to America's auto workers. Boy, did we get a big vote with the auto workers, I'll tell you. And the Teamsters. Any Teamster in the room? We got a tremendous vote from the Teamsters. Thank you. They're pointing like one guy on us. But they voted for us in the millions, so we had a lot of Teamsters voting for us. I withdrew from the World Health Organization, where we paid $500 million a year, and China paid $39 million a year, despite a much larger population. Think of that. China's paying $39 million to have 1.4 billion people. We pay $500 million. We have. Nobody knows what the hell we have. Does anyone know? We have so many people pouring in. We have no idea. We go up, but we're going down a little bit now. You don't mind that, do you? Gonna take some bad ones out. I withdrew 4 years ago, but Biden immediately went back for even more money. I mean, he went back, and they offered me at $39 million. They said, we'll let you back in at 39. So we're going to reduce it from 500 to 39. I turned them down because it became so popular. I didn't know if it would be well received even at 39. But maybe we would consider doing it again. I don't know. Maybe we would. They have to clean it up a little bit. But China pays $39 million for 1.4 billion, and we're paying $500 million for 325 million. I don't know. What the hell is wrong with these people? And then when Biden went back in, they immediately went back in. They paid more than we were paying in the first place. They paid more than the $500 million. So they knew they could have had it for 39. They paid more. You wouldn't do that, Joe, right? Now think of it. They know they have a deal at 39, so they went back in at $525 million. What the hell? Man, oh man. It infuriates you, doesn't it? I declared a national energy emergency to unlock the liquid gold under our feet and pave the way for rapid approvals of the new energy infrastructure. The United States has the largest amount of oil and gas of any country on earth, and we may be a very substantially enlarged country in the not too distant. Isn't it nice to see, you know, for years, for decades, we're the same size to the square foot. Probably got smaller, actually. But we might be an enlarged country pretty soon. And one of the things we're going to be doing is drill, baby, drill. Because that's going to bring everything down. It's going to bring everything down. My administration has also begun the largest deregulation campaign in the history of our country, far exceeding. I had the record for you. We had a great economy, the greatest economy that we've ever had 4 years ago. But this is going to be better. You watch. This will be better even than the first term. And the reason I got elected was because of the first term. You know, somebody said, "What was the reason you got elected?" I mean, you won by so much. I said, "My first term." You know, that's all I did. I just said, well, take a look at the numbers. Take a look at the numbers. In total, the Biden administration imposed $50,000 in additional regulation costs on the average American. And think of this, the average American was paying much more than $50,000. And, you know, just think of it. Nobody can even believe the numbers. I promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every new regulation. So if we put in a regulation, we have to get rid of 10. That's what I did. I did it 1 in 7. We're going to do 1 in 10 this time, which will soon put many thousands of dollars back into your pockets and the pockets of American families. As a result of the reforms, we've just begun to implement economic confidence, and it's soaring. So this week, Oracle, OpenAI, and SoftBank announced Stargate, a $500 billion investment in AI infrastructure, which is going to be very big for Nevada, I have to tell you, the largest in history, and which will create an estimated 100,000 American jobs. Saudi Arabia just said that they're going to invest at least $600 billion. This is because of the election, by the way. And I believe they'll make it $1 trillion. I'm going to ask them to make it $1 trillion. What the hell? The money means nothing to them. You know where they made their money? From liquid gold, right? They got a lot of liquid gold. We have more. We have more than Saudi Arabia. They've got a lot. We've got more. We got more than anybody. We just don't use it because of the environment. These people are crazy. And many other companies likewise are looking to invest, but I don't have enough time to do that. And we have a lot of news conferences. Everybody wants to have a news conference. You know, they're calling up by the hundreds. We want to have a news conference. We're going to invest $12. I said, no, I don't do that. I said, it's got to be $1 billion or more for a news conference. It's $1 billion or more. Just 2 days ago, because of our tariff plans.
Hey, 623 Lee, I'm going to have to check those standards. I didn't realize there's bias in there. I know the disrespectful one is a key one, right? Because, I mean, we need to let people express their opinions and stuff. But sometimes the words get a little bit too far off, right? There was one that was a little bit earlier talking about people's kids and stuff, like, not okay. I'll take a look at that, though. Thanks for the input.
Stellantis announced, that's a very good automobile company, the revival of its Belvidere, Illinois plant, saving 1,500 American auto jobs that were previously headed to Canada, along with major investments to expand American auto production in Detroit, Michigan, Toledo, Ohio, and Kokomo, Indiana. Good place. All of these investments are happening only because of our historic victory. And if we didn't win, it'd be just the opposite. They're pulling out. They were pulling out. They were really pulling out. So,
okay. So there's comments about kind of infinite growth, plentiful nature of wealth. And generally speaking, this is always a conflict that I hear when people speak. It's always, in my view, somebody that has a more positive outlook that's like speaking like, hey, there's plenty of wealth out there. Everybody can get a piece of the pie here, grow people into that state through various steps. Or you can have somebody that's, in a race to zero. I think there's a pretty clear divide out there, something to pay attention to.
they would be withdrawing money. Our country was on the verge of some of the very bad things, and bad things were happening. And now there's light not only over America. I've heard it from even our enemies. They call up and they say, sir, we hate you, we do hate you, but there's light over the world right now. They hate me. Some of them hate me. If they liked me, you got a problem, right? They like Sleepy Joe. What's not to like? You know, they'd call up. It's funny. I was told today by one of the big leaders of the world, would call for a telephone call with the President of the United States a year ago, and they'd say, we'd like to speak with, who is this? It's the head of Germany, the head of, name it, the head of France, the name of any country, it didn't matter. He would never pick up the call. They'd say, he'll call you back in 2 months. 2 months. He has a schedule. He's extremely busy sleeping. No. Macron of France, he'll call you back in 2 months. So 2 months comes along and there's no call. They'd say, he didn't call. The stories are, I mean, these stories are not very exaggerated. I want to tell you, they're a little bit for laughter, but, you know, it's only for laughter. The fake news will say, oh, he exaggerated. It was only 1 month, you know. But he'll say, call you back, and then he'd never call, and then they could never get him on the phone. And the problem I have is that when I speak to and I speak to them immediately, they'll say, could we speak to the president? Would that be possible? We could do it anytime over the next month. They're so used to this, right? I say, no, I'll pick it up right now. Is he on the phone? Yeah, hello, how you doing? That's what, you know, get it over with, right? Get it over with. The only problem, they were so starved for love from the United States, I cannot get them off the phone. I can't get people, if you can't, I say, I have to go now, King, or I have to go now, President. But you can't get them off the phone. They're starved for love. You know, for years they haven't spoken. They didn't even know we had a president, if you want to know. But under our leadership, America is back open for business, and it's really a big deal. It's really a big deal. And they have, though. They said, you know, there's like a light all over the world now. It's not just here. We feel the light over our country. Everyone does. But there's a light all over the world. We've accomplished more in 1 week than other administrations have accomplished in 4 years, and we're just getting started. We got rid of the woke. We got rid of the woke crap. What a lot. What a lot of stuff. What a lot of crap that was. It was, and you know, these people were petrified of it. I'll tell you, these companies, they run these big companies, they were petrified of it. It was like, you know, I don't think they believed it. I'm sure they didn't believe it. Some I know didn't believe it, but they were so afraid. Near the top of the agenda for our historic Republican majorities in Congress is to pass a massive tax cut for American workers and families. Last year, we campaigned across the country on a pledge that I'm sure most of you didn't hear too much about. Pledge to take the Trump tax cuts and make them permanent, and that's exactly what we're doing. In the coming weeks, I'll be working with Congress to get a bill on my desk that cuts taxes for workers, families, small businesses, and very importantly, keeps my promise for a thing called, and I know you didn't hear anything about this, and I'm sure it had no influence on the state, the fact that we won this crazy, massive majority, a state that hadn't been won by a Republican in decades. But I'm sure you haven't heard, but we're going to get it for you. No tax on tips. No tax on tips. So if you're a restaurant worker, a server, a valet, a bellhop, a bartender, or one of my caddies, I go through caddies like candy. If I play badly, I always blame my caddy. Or any other worker who relies on tipped income, your tips will be 100% yours. Won't that be nice? Joe, Governor, do you think that had an impact on the election? You do? Like what, a half a point? Pretty big. You had an impact, let me tell you. Nationwide, over 4 million workers depend on tip income, including an estimated 700,000 single moms. And here in Nevada, we will have a quarter. Think of it. A quarter of the typical restaurant workers' pay comes from tips. I didn't know that much. That's a lot. You haven't been reporting them for the last 10 years.
Hey, you got Ellipsis here. Thanks for your comment and engagement here. We could easily fix everything by taxing the rich. I'm just going to go back to that 1,000 billionaire families, and if we took every single penny in asset that they owned, trillions of dollars, if we took all of that, it would not run the government for more than a half a year. And then what do you do then? You have to go back to the printing press. So taxing the rich is not going to work. You need to fix the system. I personally don't know what that is, but I'd like to hear some intelligent proposals around that.
So here's our deal. We're going to have no tax on tips from now on, but we're going to go after you viciously for all the money you didn't report for the last 10, 15. We're going to go after you for all the money you didn't report for. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I have to say to the fake news, because they're going to say Trump is after all restaurant workers. Many of these workers are some of the very citizens who were hit hard and very hard by the ravages of the Biden economy, which was inflation. When I think of Biden, I think of incompetence and inflation. Not being nice by saying. I'm being nice when I say that. Yet even in the midst of the suffering he created, Joe Biden launched a cruel campaign to extract more money from tip workers, and that's what happened. I'm telling you, a young waitress, I won't say beautiful because you're not allowed to say that as a politician. Used to be you could say a young, beautiful waitress. This was a young, beautiful waitress, but I won't say that because I feel like I want to continue my political career. If you call the governor won't say it. If you call a woman beautiful today, it's the end of your political career, so I won't do it. But a young waitress, I think you could call young. You're probably not even supposed to say young. Probably supposed to say a waitress. But a young waitress came up and I said, "How are you doing?" And in my restaurant in the hotel, and Trump, I said, "How are you doing?" And she said, "Not great, because they're after me so viciously for tips. They just want my tip income and they don't believe me and all of this." And she said, "It's terrible. You know, sir, you should have no tax on tips." I said, "What?" So what did you just say? No tax on tips. That was about the amount of my consultation. It's true. No tax. I said, "What did you just say? Say those words again." "Sir, no tax on tips." I said, "Thank you very much. You just won the election."
Sorry, guys, messed that up again. Man, I got like a fat finger going out. But I'll respond to a comment in here. Somebody said that it's ridiculous that you can't. Let me plop that up here. Where it is. Okay, up on the screen now at the bottom. That's ridiculous that you can't tax the rich because you'll take all their money and they'll run out. Great hot take. Misconstrues my point a bit. It's more around the fact that there is not enough money to take from others to sustain the type of outcome that a lot of these folks are after, which is people at the lower end having, free and clear lives. That's not what's really going to happen. And the point is that a lot of folks would say, eat the rich and, tax, take everything away from them and so forth. And there are folks that are like that. There's quite a few. Go look at what's on the TikTok out there. I'm streaming live on TikTok also, so please don't block my feed. But anyway, folks on the TikTok out there say that all the time. You just got to look at, that's the point is if you do take everything away, it doesn't solve the problem. So Robin Hood economics does not work. The system needs to get fixed. Are there adjustments needed across the board? Probably. I couldn't tell you what those are, but I'm very open to hearing about intelligent feedback on that from folks that do some deep studying in this space. Nothing related to modern monetary policy, because that's the theory that the Democrats subscribe to right now, that says you can print as much as you want. All you have to do is raise taxes to take care of inflation. Right? You're scratching your head like somebody's struggling to buy they're saying $9 a dozen eggs, but hey, pay more in taxes because eggs are $9 a dozen. Like, wait a minute, I don't even have the $9. Now you want me to have $6, right? Anyway, let's keep going here.
But a young waitress, I think you could call young. You're probably not even supposed to say young. Probably supposed to say a waitress. But a young waitress came up and I said, how are you doing? And in my restaurant in the hotel in Trump, I said, how are you doing? And she said, not great, because they're after me so viciously for tips. They just want my tip income and they don't believe me and all of this. And she said, it's terrible. You know, sir, you should have no tax on tips. I said, what? I said, what did you just say? No tax on tips. That was about the amount of my consultation. It's true. No tax. I said, what did you just say? Say those words again. Sir, no tax on tips. I said, thank you very much. You just won the election. No, we did research into it. I think it's going to be great. But under the Trump administration, the forgotten men and women of our country are going to be forgotten no longer. You know that. They weren't forgotten 4 years ago. On day one, I immediately halted the hiring of any new IRS agents. You know, they hired or tried to hire 88,000 new workers to go after you, and we're in the process of developing a plan to either terminate all of them or maybe we'll move them to the border. I think we're going to move them to the border. Well, they're allowed to carry guns. You know, they're so strong on guns, but these people are allowed to carry guns, so we'll probably move them to the border. Yeah. She said no tax on it. How about just no tax? You could do that. You know, if the tariffs work out like I think, a thing like that could happen, if you want to know the truth. You know, years ago, 1870 to 1913, we didn't have an income tax. What we had is tariffs, where foreign countries came in and they stole our jobs, they stole our companies, they stole our product, they ripped us off. And, you know, they used to do numbers, and then we went to a tariff system, and the tariff system made so much money. It was when we were the richest, from 1870 to 1913. Then we brilliantly came in with an income tax. No, we don't want others to pay. Let's have our people pay. And then you had the Depression in 1928, 1929. I call it 1929. That was a bad time, but, you know, you didn't have tariffs, and you had tariffs that ended in 1913. But it was the richest our country ever was. That was President McKinley. In fact, we're renaming the mountain, Mount McKinley. You know what else we're renaming? We're renaming the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. And Mexico, actually, they were thrilled when they heard. They said, that's nice. A few months from now, when I sign our tax cut into law, we're going to deliver for the tip-earning men and women who make it all work. I mean, it's going to be something very special, I think, for you. It's going to be a big difference. And with us today is Jessica Angiano, an employee here at Circa. This is a nice place, by the way, and I just met your owner. He's a nice man. He's rich, too. But Circa is very nice, and a hard-working single mother of two with incredible children. Jessica's struggling to pay for medical bills to remove a tumor behind her right eye. She's had some real difficulty, and she's currently saving up for a second surgery, which will hopefully be very successful, while also paying for her children's daycare. Jessica says that no tax on tips would transform her life. It would make such a big difference. So, Jessica, we're going to get that for you. Where are you, Jessica? You around here someplace, huh? Hi, Jessica. Oh, so beautiful. Very nice. It's working out medically good? Everything good? Gonna be good. Thanks, Gonna. You look fantastic. It's good. You look great. Also with us is Lexi York, a 28-year-old cocktail server here at Circa, who's got big dreams of being an entrepreneur. Lexi says that no tax on tips will help bring those dreams much closer to reach.
I'm not going to say your whole name. I'm just going to say Arizona for AZ here. This guy loves, let's put your thing up there on the good old board at the bottom there. This guy loves rich guys. I do. I want everyone to be rich. I want everyone to prosper. I want everyone to do good. Let's all get out there and hustle.
And she's going to be one of the biggest proponents for it. We're going to have a lot of support when we go before Congress very soon to get that passed. Lexi, where are you? Where are you? Hi, Lexi. Wow. Good. We'll get it done. And we're also pleased to be joined by Rosanna Maeda, President and CEO of the American Hotel and Lodging Association, which strongly supports this pro-worker reform. And Rosanna, would you like to come up and say a few words on behalf of so many people? Come on up. Come on up.
Folks, I got to leave it here with Rosanna coming up. I'm in between business meetings here. I got one coming up in a little bit, but this was a very important call. The tax code is going to be the big thing coming up here for the next week, in my view, barring anything else that comes up. Just wanted to share some of this. I'll continue it a little bit later this evening. Guest calls, let me know. Vote in the poll. Do you guys want to do some guest calls? I've had it open in the last few lives, but as much as there isn't much interaction as there is on the chat, not as many people want to kind of click through to get to that. So give me some feedback. Is it just that you're not noticing where the link is? Not as much interest in doing some guest calls? I'm still going to leave it open because I think there's going to be some folks that want to click through and, you know, share their opinions and everything. But going to close it down here for right now. But not everyone. Hold on, I see a quick comment here. And I appreciate you guys sharing your thoughts. Not everyone can be rich. That's paradox here. It's been fun. And, you know, to me, it's like, what is the definition of rich, right? Because at one point, Biden was saying, like, anyone making $200,000 or less won't be taxed. And then people were in an uproar because there's families where the husband and wife each make, you know, $110,000. And it's like, wait a minute, we're going to have our taxes raised? What are you talking about, right? It's very dependent. You have a family of, you know, 4 or 5 kids, 200,000 means something different to you than it might somebody else, right? So what's the definition of rich? I just want people to be comfortable. Honestly, that's my thing. When I say I want everyone to be rich, I want people to feel good. I want people to be able to do well. What is that right income level in order to do that? It's unknown to me at this point. Just with all the inflation that's happened, I can't put my finger on it. I feel like I knew what that was. Say 4 or 5 years ago, right? Once you hit the 6-figure mark and got a little bit over that, people started feeling pretty good. But now it's not even the case. It's not the case anymore. It's gotten pretty bad out there. What's middle class? 180K a year or more, says 623 Lee. I mean, I don't know. And then Kelly saying it was under 500. I'm assuming that Biden comment. Yeah, and then he went to 400. So these arbitrary levels that people just throw out, like Kamala Harris was asked, you know, her vehicle mandate, it's like everything by 2045. It's like she just pulled that number out of thin air. We need to have some data behind this. And when you look at data, you can see that reports out there from Redfin and elsewhere saying half of the United States struggles to pay their rent on a month-to-month basis. That's not okay. A quarter of those people skip meals in order to make basic payments on rent, utilities, and otherwise. Very much not okay. A lot of this stuff has happened despite the stock market, which Democrats point to, like, look how great the economy is. It's because we inflated the stock market. When you drop money into a system that's not working, and dropping money being printing it, where do you think that money goes right now? It gets funneled to the top. So systemic change is what Trump is bringing into place, and it has to happen in pieces to help alleviate pressure on people, whether it's tips, overtime. Crypto is another one, because there's a lot of people that are able to kind of buy into crypto right now that will get an outsized benefit from it. And why not let that be tax-free for folks? They dropped in, you know, $500, turn into 5,000. Let them have that tax-free. That'll mean so much to them, whatever it might be. But anyway, I got to close it down for now. I'll be back later, guys. Take some calls. Check out Ground News. It's in the description. Consider becoming a channel member. I appreciate you guys.
Darkness falls, truth emerges. searches. Political cow unveils the lies. Behind the screen, wisdom surges, lighting up hate with her eyes. In the shadows, secrets lurk. She exposes, she ignites. With every post, she does the work, unmasking darkness, revealing lights. Political cow, the beacon bright, unveiling truth, banishing night. With every post, she does the work, unmasking darkness, revealing lights. Oh, what? Political cow, the beacon bright, unveiling truth, banishing night. Her voice cuts through, stark and raw, shattering deception, breaking the law. Breaking the law. Icons crumble, empires fall. She stands tall, fierce and cold. Her voice echoes a thunderous call. In the chaos, her strength unfolds. False prophets scatter, truth ascends. The world watches, mesmerized. Political cow's battle never ends. In her light, dark meets its demise. Political